Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos, and in today's War Within beta update, we have some dungeon tuning coming to actually a lot of dungeons. Starting off with Grim Batol, we have a nerf to Rive's range to 60 from 100 yards, maybe making it possibly rangeable. And also nerfs to the Enveloping Shadow Flame from Twilight Warlock, so a little bit of trash nerfs to Grim Batol. We also have General Umbris getting damage increases to Rock Spike and Rumbling Earth, and also a cast time increase on Shadow Flame Breath as well. Forge Master Throngus, Fiery Cleave, now targeted on a random target. Aridax, the Duke below as well. Shadow Wound duration is being nerfed as well. So mostly making Grim Batol actually a little bit easier, except for General Umbris. Dawnbreaker, you're going to get stunned for longer on Rashanan when the lines come out if they hit you, which this should only hit one person. It's a little bit annoying. A longer stun, I don't know. Being stunned is already really annoying on that, so I'm not sure I like that. Here's a big one, Mist of Tyrna Scythe. So Mistveil defenders used to kind of do nothing. Now they are getting some abilities. They're getting Mist Ward, which is an AoE on the ground. I actually don't mind adding abilities like this for trash. I think trash that do swirlies for you to move out of. For me, that's one of the better ways to make trash do stuff, to give them abilities. You know, things that you're not expected to stop or kick, but instead dodge. And particularly if they're nice, well telegraphed things, particularly if they're not like invisible frontals, right? It's just like, oh yeah, you're not supposed to stand in that mob, you know, that sort of thing. So I quite like adding this type of ability to trash. They also have Expel, which charges a target enemy, doing damage and knocking them back. I don't like this sort of ability. These ones, this sort of thing annoys me. And then Defender's Aura, which gives other allies in combat Defender's Aura, which seems to do nothing at the moment. My suspicion is that that's going to be a damage reduction aura. I also really dislike trash that have damage reduction auras around themselves as well. I think that those tend to make pulls a lot less fun. Mistveil Guardians now cast Anima Slash on the tank, a massive magic dot effect. Also not something I mind. I think tank dots that mobs do, it depends on the size of the dot. So with the word massive here, like obviously if it's just like something you have to kite. But in terms of tank mechanics, I think mobs that do a nasty dot can be fine. And this is, I guess, magic dot. So I guess this is a dispel rather than something that your tank, lives. Also increases the value of dwarf, that kind of stuff. Maybe a spell reflect too. But I don't have a huge problem with this. I would say these two I don't like seeing. This, I actually like seeing some difficulty shifted into ground AoEs. I think that's good. And then they've removed Spear Flurry from Mistveil Defenders, which is nice. That was kind of annoying. That was one of those things where it's like, you were supposed to take 0 damage from Spear Flurries, right? You're supposed to like just bait them into a direction, dodge them. But it was always really annoying because you just get them kind of going in a bunch of directions. So I like seeing abilities like this removed. I will say, I think on balance, this is probably more bad than good. But I think good change... Okay change, no strong opinion. Good change, and then these two strike me as bad changes. Haven't played the dungeon yet though. Haven't tested these, so that is a knee-jerk reaction. Trova, they're increasing the damage of Anima Rejection, which is just AoE damage on the raid or on the group, and it also casts Coalescing Poison, which pulls players in, and then 5 seconds later it does a. So this is just, it's going to grip you in, and you're going to have to run out from under the boss, I guess, is how Coalescing Poison is going to work. I think Trova, I think it's probably fine to add stuff like this to this fight. It's one of those fights where there's sort of a couple of core mechanics on Trova, and then there's long periods of time where it's kind of not much is going on. This will maybe be kind of annoying with the ground junk that this fight has too, though. So, I don't know. I don't have a super strong opinion about this change either. Siege of Bralis Chopper Red Hook, which is the first boss. If you fail to drag it into a bomb, it's going to pull in all players instead of just a fixated target. I mean, this is pretty much just going to be a wipe if this occurs. I'm not sure I like that. I guess the idea is to prevent you from being able to like immune on the fixated target or something like that. But you already want to hit the bombs. So this is kind of punishing you further for not doing something. Like you already are getting a penalty if you don't hit a bomb. I'm not sure that it needs to be a full wipe on the whole raid. Like maybe if this did less damage, but this does enough physical damage that as the key level gets up to 6 and 7 and stuff, I think it turns into pretty one-shotty pretty quick. Dread Captain Lockwood. So here we have some really good changes. The boss retreats at 66 and 33% health, was full energy. Love this change. I love anytime they change stuff from time-based or energy-based to percent-based on a fight like this, because now that's going to prevent it from double scaling with time on Tyrannical, which is every key, I guess, now, and as the key level goes up, right? Like, previously there are fights like this where it's like, oh, every 40 seconds I get 100 energy, and then I jump up on the boat, right? However long it is. You do that on a high enough key, and then it's like, okay, well, now we've gotten an extra intermission, which means we have to deal with an extra set of adds, which means that not only are we dealing with 10% more boss health, we are also dealing with another spawn of adds, and all of those adds also have more health. So you go up from like key level, 7 to 8 or something, and instead of the boss taking about 10% longer, it's taking like 22% longer at that key level, 25% longer, something like that. So this is a great change. This is like the last boss of Halls of Infusion. Really good there. Swirlies, radius decrease on the Dread Volleys, okay. Fire Ricochet, a new ability that deals high damage to 4 players and leaves a dot that needs to be healed through. Also fine with this. I think that adding some, healing to this fight in the form of something like this, that's probably fine. This is not a fight that has all that much to heal. And then there's Mass Bombardment. Marks all players' locations every 2 seconds. Bombs will fall in those locations after 4 seconds. 4 sets of bombs will occur. Let's see how this looks. So this is just like a dance, right? Like, you could stack and move as a group. You could spread. Like, this is probably not how you probably are supposed to do, like, a Dark Recital type. That was Council of Blood in Castle Nathria, where, like, everybody stacks up, or, like, at least all the melee stack up and kind of move around the boss in a circle type thing, so you can keep uptime on the boss. And then the ranged can probably either join that stack, do their own stack, or do their own thing far away. But that seems like a fun little mechanic as well. Not something that has to do any damage to you either, just a little bit of a dance and a dodge. I think this fight is getting a lot better. I think this is a fight that has become substantially improved from the initial version of Siege of Borealis, so I like that. I like what's going on there. Stone Vault, we now have Crystal Eruptions, now increased damage taken from Crystal Eruption by 100% for 3 seconds. That's on Scar Marak, so I guess you need to stagger these. I guess because I think these are the crystals that you kill. I don't remember for sure, but I think that's the idea there. Master Machinist Brock and Dorlita. Deconstruction now damages all players. Players within 25 yards take massive damage and leave a dot. Okay. Yeah, I think this already did the massive damage within 25 yards, but I guess now it's also got some rage damage on it. I feel like it already did that as well, but maybe I'm misremembering. Exhaust Vents deal damage more often, so if you're standing in the fire, you're going to die more quickly. Flaming Scrap deals more damage as well. Molten Metal can no longer be dispelled, which, okay. So people are you're gonna be slowed on this fight undispellably, which is okay. Whenever there's a debuff that's just as slow, sometimes having it be a dispel makes your healers think they have to dispel it when in fact it's not actually doing damage or anything like that. But of course, this particular fight, like, sometimes you would get caught in a spot that you didn't want to be, and having a slow, like, this fight having a slow mechanic in addition to all of the other fiddly movement mechanics on this fight has felt kind of icky. So I feel like maybe this should just be the slow should just be removed here, rather than making it not dispellable. And then Molten Wave now sends out Molten Waves from the Scrap Cube as well. Or I guess it's just a new ability. Okay. So dodge the waves. Again, yeah, that's going to be really obnoxious if you're slowed. I don't know. This fight was already pretty hard, and this looks like they're making it harder. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I feel like this is maybe a fight that the difficulty was already pretty high on. Edna now reduces damage taken by 25%. Was 25 increased Natura damage. Interesting. Yeah, this was like the boss buffing itself. Was it? I don't remember what Stone Shield was on Edna, so my bad. City of Threads, we also have the Fangs of the Queen fight. Dark Paranoia damage is reduced in damage, duration, and now it triggers a fear, which there are ways to interact with fears. It used to be a Horrify, so now you can use stuff like Tremor Totem, like Berserker Rage, like Lichborn to break the fear, when previously as a Horrify you couldn't. So that's nice. This was actually a pretty nasty fight. And Icicle's damage is being reduced as well, this was also a big source of kill on this fight. This was a really hard fight, so This was one of those fights where you kind of you just zerg it down and try and kill it with lust before it killed you. At least that's how I did it in all the testing keys that I did, pretty much, because yeah, the damage was really high. There was a lot of this was a kind of a mechanic vomit fight where all of the mechanics were super lethal as well. So I like making some of them a little bit less lethal. Probably could maybe do with like a spell queuing slowdown as well on Fangs of the Queen. All right. So overall, I don't know. I've seen the Wowhead take on this was new abilities in Mist and Siege making the dungeons harder. They tweeted that, and there was a lot of backlash against that idea. I do think there's some changes here that I'm not a huge fan of. I think the Siege changes are... I think Dread Captain Lockwood's getting... I think this is better. I think this fight's better. Is this harder? I mean, the swirlies are smaller. It's going up less often. I guess this mechanic is new. This isn't a hard mechanic. Mass Bombardment. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a... Like, philosophically, I think that these changes are mostly good. These are definitely good. These ones are maybe a little bit sus. These seem good. This one's maybe a little bit sus. This seems fine. And this is like some good, some bad. I don't know. It doesn't seem like this doesn't seem like one of those blue posts where they're doing the opposite of what I wanted them to do. It seems like they're tuning the dungeons, and it's like, you know, 50-50 changes that I think will be good versus changes that I think will be bad, and I need to test them out to really see if I'm right, because I'm sure there's a good chance that some of these things I think are going to be fun are actually not, and some of the things I think are not going to be fun or maybe be fine. I don't know. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you've played these dungeons after these changes. I will try and get some testing in this weekend as well if I have any spare time. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.